迎收看电影娱乐报。今天带来的新片是讨论度相当高的谍报动作片《美国刺客》，改编自文斯佛林的同名畅销小说，描写 CIA 传奇探员密奇因为意外彻底改头换面的故事。而这样的遭遇恰巧和男主角迪伦·欧布莱恩不谋而合。之前他因为拍《移动迷宫》受到重伤，这是他伤后复出的新作品，也一改以往小鲜肉的形象，留起胡渣，化身硬汉。而片中另外一大亮点就是饰演魔鬼教官的金球影帝米高基顿，戏里扮演迪伦的良师前辈，戏外更是帮助他走出伤后阴影的关键人物。再加上艾美奖最佳导演麦克奎斯塔精心指导，精彩内容我们先一起来欣赏幕后花絮。
That day on the beach, it changed you. You want revenge. What'd you think? You're gonna jump from cell to cell taking out terrorists?
For starters, yeah.
Our people here like your agenda, Mitch. I know exactly what to do with you.
So what do I need to know about this guy?
He's a warrior. One of the best I've ever known.
Some bad things happened to you. Now you want to go kill terrorists, am I right?
Out there, it's about the mission, not about you.
Slice a man's throat right here like this.
He's testing through the roof. Speed, focus. He's off the charts.
I've seen off the charts before.
Not like this.
You think you're special? Never, ever let it get personal. What is it you think we do here?
Kill people who need to be killed.
We got a problem. 6 days ago, 15 kilos of plutonium went missing.
Take a look at this.
It can't be him.
It's him, Irene. It's Ghost.
Why is this guy after you? Something personal, something?
Everything he did there, I taught him how to do it.
There's a nuke in play.
You got 48 hours to stop him. I trusted you. You should have come for me. Eliminate the target.
Yes, sir.
Where's the rest of your team? Where's the new me? This whole thing is just a means to an end for you, isn't it?
No. This is just the beginning.
It's interesting because to watch your character go through the origins version and then kind of see how. So what was that like to? Because all the other actors that I talked to, they all kind of show up like as they are, but you're the only person that we get to see this kind of play through.
Yeah, right.
So what was it like to be able to get to play Mitch from like the first time we see him to the version that we see on?
Well, that was the whole thing I fell in love with, you know, that arc, you know, his story, how you get to see him change like that, how you get to see, there's something really interesting and heartbreaking to me about, you know, what this guy was before he experienced this devastating thing and then how it changes him. That was always the thing that first wrote me into the role and made me want to be a part of it.
To stay in that mindset for pretty much, you know, the rest of the film, what do you do to kind of get into that immediately, and how do you get out of it? Like,
you know, you just it's just focus and it's just work, you know, and you're just, you know, you do a lot of prep, and I had a long time to think about this guy beforehand and think about how I was gonna portray him, he was gonna be filtered through me, you know, and when you go to work, then you just, you know, you try to concentrate and focus on, okay, you know, this is who I'm playing, this is how, you know, what this guy's going through, and you try to set yourself in that place and you try to just feel that and be that and wear that skin as best you can.
And cameras off, you're like normal, or like
no, you know, it depends, you know, it depends what you're doing. Obviously, there's days where you're not always doing incredibly a serious thing. You know, you could be just doing a walking shot one day. Obviously, you always, you know, but it's a mix. Yeah, I'm definitely not somebody who forces himself to stay in character. You know, at the same time, you know, if you're concentrating very hard on a scene that you're trying to, it does help to kind of stay concentrated and focused in between takes and not go around and you know, sometimes I don't like doing that, you know, but also sometimes you gotta be social and be hanging out and break it up.
It's him, Ivory. It's Ghost.
To be able to shoot a film in various locations, how was that for you to kind of coordinate? And also, I saw the blink there, but like to be able to, how did that help in terms of how you shot the film? Did it add to it, or was it?
Well, going into the film, once I got on board, I really pitched the globe-trotting geopolitical ride that I think the audiences love in these movies, even Bond movies. You know, we go because we go to exotic places. So it was important that we make that as realistic as possible.
The nice thing about like this film is like the characters just come in already as is, and so in order for an audience to understand who Stan is, how did you kind of prepare your version of Stan so that once we see him, we know exactly what his story is before, you know?
Yeah. That's an excellent question, and the truth is, kind of just what you said. It was pretty much there. There wasn't. You had a. I mean, it is realistic in terms of what he does and who he represents. However, it's also fictitious. It's somewhat created. It's an amalgam of a lot of, you know, special ops, maybe a touch of CIA here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But based on things that Vince Lin knew and wrote about and really understood. So it was pretty much, I'd say it was simple, but it was pretty simple. It was pretty there. Just show up basically and say the words for the most part, but you always like bring whatever it is you bring to the role, and you know, there's always rewrites, and I didn't want to make him, we rewrote him a bit, but wasn't that much. We didn't really rewrite the Hurley character all that much, but I did rewrite some. I mean, we had notes, and Michael Cuesta, the director, and Stephen Schiff, the writer, were already in agreement with most of the things I thought might need changed.
That day on the beach, it changed you. You're gonna jump from cell to cell, taking out terrorists.
He's a warrior, and the best I've ever known.
He's testing through the roof.
I've seen off the charts before.
Not like this.
We got a problem. 6 days ago, 15 kilos of plutonium went missing.
Take a look at this.
Can't be him.
Why's this guy after you? Something personal, sir?
Everything he did there, I taught him how to do it. I got 48 hours to stop him. Where's the rest of your team?
This whole thing is just a means to an end for you, isn't it?
This is just the beginning.
Been in other physical films. How
Yeah.
is the physicality of this different from how you prepare for something like the Maze Runner and stuff like that?
Very different. You know, the Maze Runner was always, you know, first of all, this guy has been training himself. Mitch has, you know, trained himself every day for 1.5 years since the incident happened, and he's been going through CIA training, you know, when we see him early on, and so. So you know, this is a trained and specifically tactical guy who has to have and possess certain skills. While he's also a little raw, you know, the guy's got to be able to believably fight and, you know, handle guns and know what he's doing. And you know, the Maze Runner films, story-wise, those were always kids, you know, in extreme circumstances, and so it's never really important for them to be in top physical shape necessarily. You know, it was just sort of kids having to survive this situation.
To play against somebody like Michael, what was it like an instant easy kind of, you know, chemistry, or
Yeah.
Can you talk about what it's like?
Yeah, he's great. You know, as soon as I met him, he's just normal. He's just cool off the bat. You know, he He can talk to you. You can have a conversation with him. You know, you're comfortable around him. You can talk sports. You can talk whatever. You can talk about the work. You know, and that was really easy for me. And straight out of the gate, you know, obviously there's some anticipation in meeting him, and you're a little nervous at first, and you just, you know, you're just excited. It's a guy you've been watching forever, so it's a little odd, you know, to you. But he was immediately, you know, relieved all that tension.
Can I ask one last question?
Sure.
Mitch doesn't play very well with rules and stuff. Why do you think he's a guy that doesn't follow instructions very well and actually does the stuff that he does in a film like this?
Well, I think he is a really calculated person, and I think he has confidence in that. And you know, I don't think he was some deranged dude just winging it and not following orders because he's angry. You know, I think he'll follow an order if he thinks it's a smart order. I think, and that's why I think we see him listen to Hurley. We see him go on this journey with him and like give him a shot and take this instruction from this guy who's been doing what he wants to do, you know. So, but I think he also is a guy who goes with his gut and doesn't necessarily agree with everything that Hurley practices.
These are your targets. Memorize. It's your responsibility to be able to identify them. The combatant shoots you. Let's just say you're gonna feel it.
What happened to that kid on the beach? It changed him. You can't train that into someone. Gun skills, martial arts. You want to kill her? Here he is.
He's non-compliant.
It's front and center. What makes you think you can make it through my selection process?
My guess is if you and I go hand to hand, you could probably figure out inside of 20 seconds whether or not I have what it takes to make it through your selection process. So, what do you think?
He's ready, Stan.
Actually, Irene, he's not ready. But he will be.
You back up.
You're gonna cover my ass.
What's the mission, sir?
Eliminate the target. Keep your eyes open and wait for my orders.
Something's wrong.
Target's gone.
Mission terminated. Who authorized you to make contact?
I took the initiative, sir.
You disobeyed a direct order.
No, I made a decision to pursue the target, and I completed the mission. And sir, isn't that what I'm here to do? Isn't that my job?
Your job's to do what I tell you to do.
Who was that guy in his symbol? Seems like he was a step ahead of us.
Everything he did there, I taught him how to do it.
4 days ago, 15 kilos of plutonium went missing. Weapons grade.
I got 48 hours.
That guy he trained? Who the hell is he?
He has the nuclear weapon.
Gotta stop this guy.
欢迎继续回到电影娱乐报。美国刺客原本是《纽约时报》同名系列的冠军小说，也号称是中情局探员必读的圣经。翻拍成电影真的是让人相当的期待。当然，演出卡司也是一大话题，有伤后复出的迪伦·欧布莱恩以及金球影帝米高基顿。其他卡司还包括担任反派的泰勒·基奇以及西瓦内加等人。访问中也提到拍摄期间彼此的合作过程和困难的地方。更多幕后花絮，一起来欣赏吧。
You have more in common with Mitch's, Dylan's character, Mitch, than other characters. You guys are rooted in some kind of tragedy. Can you maybe talk about, you know, what the things you guys have in common?
Yeah, I think from this moment she sees Mitch, she notices, you know, and she sees through him, just like how he was first introduced to Irene and she has that instinct, but she sees through him and he's just so, he's so guarded and he's just still angry and bitter, you know, from his tragic past. And and she knows what he's going through. She's gone through it herself. She's been on the ground for a little longer, and she's more of a pro a little bit, so she tries to kind of be there for him and kind of, you know, get through to him. And she really tries. I mean, there's a moment that she really tries to open up and say, listen, I get it. You know, I'm there, I've been there, so trust me, you know.
But that also makes for what happens afterwards kind of a painful scene to watch, because you don't want to see them fight, but yet you break into this crazy situation.
Well, I mean, let's not forget the stakes are high. There's things that he's learning and he's discovering as we keep going. You know, the story keeps unfolding, whether it's new characters and new people, good, bad, and you don't know who to trust anymore, you know? So one little thing and he's on edge. You don't know who to trust, and that's when kind of things hit the fan.
To be able, because in a way, what was fascinating was I was like, oh, so now it's like bringing some like interesting, because a character like that can just be a reactionary character, and so how do you make sure that you're just not like,
it's
what,
hard.
who, you know, like,
Yeah.
and yet what I knew immediately was like, you can hold your own against any man, you know, and so
Yeah.
that was kind of fascinating for me to you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of who she is. I mean, she's in all of those books, and she rises through the ranks of the CIA within the books. I haven't read all of them, but just kind of investigating, and it's so fascinating to me, like thinking about who is this woman that wants to even do this job, and who is this woman that has not only wants to do the job, but triumphs and rises through the ranks. And I knew when I read it, I was like, this is going to be a hard acting job, because, you know, it's singular. It's not, she can't be too emotional because of her job, by nature of her job, which I love. I love all that stuff, you know. And I knew that it would be singular and looking at a lot of green screen and having to use that to get across her arc. And it was difficult, and yet I had such a blast working with Michael Cuesta, who really knows that world because he comes from Homeland and he's done it. So he had all these great tricks to kind of keep it like engaging and specific. And then of course working with Keaton and Dylan, they were so passionate and committed to getting it right, and just cool people. We had a great group of, it was like family. Great group of people that just came together to get this job done. It's almost like we came together for a mission.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We
Literally.
literally came together for a mission, and it really comes across when you see the movie.
That day on the beach, it changed you. You're gonna jump from cell to cell, taking out terrorists.
Say, look at this.
There's a nuke in play.
Why does this guy have to? Something personal, sir?
Everything you did there, I taught him how to do it. We got 48 hours to stop him.
Did you have to do any kind of chemistry tests with the other two leads? Because Dylan and Taylor, you have great scenes with them. I'm just wondering, was that an instant kind of connection, or did it take a little bit to kind of establish what we see on the screen?
What do you mean?
Like, every scene you have with Dylan is fascinating to watch. I'm just curious, like, was that an instant thing? Or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Dylan really came prepared, and probably more prepared than I was, because I just came up immediately from Spider-Man, which we jammed into my schedule, and then I went over to start shooting that. So he was ready to go, and he's a really intelligent, professional, actor. So I figured out what his process was, which was cool with me. He has a tendency to kind of want to, like, in between takes, he wants to talk a little bit, he wants to keep things light, and then he gets locked in the scene. And I've seen other actors do that. I have a tendency to kind of stay in a kind of zone. Maybe I don't talk so much, I might get up and walk around, just kind of stay kind of within the zone of what I want to do, and that was fine with me. Worked great because we had a lot of laughs in between.
A lot of people are going to be talking about that interrogation scene between you and Taylor.
Yeah.
And so, what was that like to shoot? And in your head, how was somebody like Stan working through that crazy pain, but still kind of keeping, the role of not maybe giving? I don't know, like, how did you play that, and what was it like to film with Taylor?
Well, good. Once again, Taylor was really ready. I mean, he was just locked into his character. That always makes it easier for the other actor, so it made it that much easier for me. You just start to play off where he is and what he's doing. But honestly, in that, you just you know, it's just kind of pretend time, and but you have to ask questions. How much of this could you really endure? Yes, I have to accept this is a movie. There's a lot you buy into. You know, there's a lot you have to accept because it's a big action movie. So, but it has to be based in some kind of reality in your head, thinking, well, if I really were to outsmart this guy, I have, and you know, that's as much in Stan Hurley's quiver, you know, his repertoire, as anything. His intelligence, you know, he appears to be a simplistic, straightforward, kind of badass, tough guy, physical tough guy, but he's actually, it's as important to him how you deal with things psychologically and emotionally as it is physically, maybe more so, especially now that he's older. So you just think, well, in this, you know, if we're going to believe this scene anyway, based within those parameters, you know, what would I do? And you can't act like there would be no pain, so Stan just used the pain for his craziness, you know.
It's him, Ivory. It's Ghost.
The character of Ghost, to me, he feels like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, he feels like an actor, like, I don't feel like you've played a role like this before.
Yeah.
And so maybe what was it like for you to kind of say yes to something like that?
I mean, it was Lorenzo Di Bonaventura, who produced it, came to me and kind of echoed the same thing. And he's like, I just want to see what you would do with this. And it was very flattering, and I'd love to keep doing these kind of, you know, the villain is a lot of fun, you know, especially how psychologically damaged he was. I love how personal it all becomes with the three guys, too, so that was a big reason why I attached on.
It's very easy for an actor to showboat a villain, but you didn't do that, so I'm just curious, how come, like, what were the choices that you wanted to?
I don't know, I think it's just, it's deeper than that, you know, and you never want to just go with the first idea that pops in your head, or for the most part, you know, especially when you're like, I don't know, he's not that mustache twirling kind of guy, you know. It really is that deep personal engagement with Keaton's character that drives him, and was the biggest fault in the end.
To be able to work with both Keaton and also Dylan in scenes, did you have time to like hang out with them? Because it felt really nice on camera. So
yeah, it was, and I think that was like a happy accident, to be honest, because I came in pretty late into the gig, and I mean, with Keaton, I met him for minutes before, and then I talked about rehearsal or the scene for a tiny bit with Cuesta, and then we just hit the ground running. So. And then with Dylan, I don't know, we're buddies now, and we had a lot of laughs, believe it or not, filming that last scene in the film, so, or the boat scene, but it was, he's just a great guy and a great work ethic.
I gotta ask, even for the boat scene, because I've seen a lot of action movies, and even for that, I was like, oh, they're playing with some interesting, like,
I know.
Like, can you talk about what it's like to shoot, and also, because every now and then, you guys are, there's like wires
I know,
involved,
it's incredible. I've never seen anything like it, and even when, it's funny because when you read it, it's like this big, this much dialogue, and you're like, wait, the boat's going 80 miles an hour, no one's driving it, and we're hitting the ceiling, and then the sides, and then we re-engage and do it again, and I'm like, how are we gonna do this, you know? But it was, I mean, obviously the end result is just, I was blown away by it. I thought they just did a terrific job. And to work with him, Dylan's just so great at that stuff, so he elevates it. It's great.
That day on the beach, it changed you. You want revenge. What'd you think? You're gonna jump from cell to cell taking out terrorists?
For starters, yeah.
Our people here like your agenda, Mitch. I know exactly what to do with you.
So what do I need to know about this guy?
He's a warrior. One of the best I've ever known.
Some bad things happened to you. Now you want to go kill terrorists, am I right?
Out there, it's about the mission, not about you.
Slice a man's throat right here like this.
He's testing through the roof. Speed, focus. He's off the charts.
I've seen off the charts before.
Not like this.
You think you're special? Never, ever let it get personal. What is it you think we do here?
Kill people who need to be killed.
We got a problem. 6 days ago, 15 kilos of plutonium went missing.
Hey, look at this.
It can't be him.
It's him, Irene. It's Ghost.
Why's this guy after you? Something personal, sir?
Everything he did there, I taught him how to do it.
There's a nuke in play.
You got 48 hours
To stop him.
I trusted you.
You should have come for me.
Eliminate the target.
Yes, sir.
Where's the rest of your team? Where's the new me?
This whole thing is just a means to an end for you, isn't it?
No. This is just the beginning.
以上就是新片《美国刺客》推荐给大家喽，希望你们会喜欢。未来我们还会有更多的电影介绍。我是乔琳，我们下次见，拜拜。